Hi again, World History. I'm here to explain to you how to look at your comic strip. Graphic novels, graphic images like this are a really, I think, powerful way to study history and how it affects people. So, you've been learning about Arab Spring. You've been learning about how this sweeping of democratic revolutions that started in 2011 has been affecting different countries in the Middle East. So, today we're going to see how individuals have been affected by this. And you're going to take one particular person's story, and these are actually based on real people, which I think is pretty powerful. You're going to be reading a comic from this site right here called Positive Negative. Now, depending on what your last name is, I just kind of randomly assigned you one of the stories, Khalid, Muhammad, or Haskell. So you're going to click on this, and in a second, I'll show you. But while you read your comic, I want you to read it at least twice. So the first time you read it, gather some information, record important parts of this person's journey. And this is going to help you in your second reading really dive in and look at that. So each story is different. You might not have enough information to answer all the questions in the second table, and that's okay. You can just write no information provided. So what we've got here, you'll start out by putting your refugee's name, and then you're going to gather some information about their journey. So what countries did they travel through? What cities? Were they in refugee camps? Were they in an asylum center? Bullet points are fine here, but just make sure you give me enough that I can tell you really understood it. Why and when did this person leave? Who did they leave behind? And again, bullet points are okay. With whom did they travel? If they traveled alone, you could just put they traveled alone, right? What kinds of transportation did they use? Did they combine transportation, truck, boat, their own feet, right? Like what kinds of ways were they doing it? What challenges did they face? Where and with whom is this person living now at the end of the story? And what is life like in their new location? So that's your first read. You're just gathering some information. On your second read, now you really want to analyze. You want to look at the facial expressions, the words, the tone of the expression that the artist has really put in here. So the first thing you'll do, find two illustrations that show an individual's character response to an event or situation. So a facial expression, a body position, and what do they show about your character's emotions and experience? So do you see maybe hope in your character's face? Do you see frustration or sadness? You just want to explain that. Maybe tell me a little bit on which scene it was in. Analyze words. So now look for any two thought bubbles, word balloons, pieces of first person narratives that are showing a character's inner thoughts and emotions. You want to write key phrases from the text. So any two, okay? You can kind of paraphrase what they're saying. Just notice anything that's really trying to show you their emotion. And the last thing, look for the tone. What's the tone of the comic? We kind of did this before with our TED Talk. Tone is hopeful, joyful, devastating, terrifying, fearful, sad, right? You want to look for the tone as a whole. You can even put more than one. And what element of the comic creates the tone? Like, how do you know? You know, if it's a hopeful tone, how do you know that? Just list a couple things here. So let's take a look at your options. Again, it's going to depend on your last name. There's 3 different stories. So you'll click on positive negatives. And this really, I did this as an assignment in a workshop, and I was really moved by, I think, how powerful these images were. So if you look at Muhammad's story, and you click on this, here's what it shows you. Okay. So there's actually a little 30-second kind of intro that sets the scene. So I would check that out and just kind of see. So now you've got 4 boards here on your story. So I want you to make sure, 5 actually. It's kind of small here, so what I would do is zoom in, and then you can kind of hold and move it around. See that? And so you go through the story, just kind of follow that logic there. Right to left, like this, and top to bottom. Okay? And then you go to your next one, and you can zoom in. And you can see his journey. You can see facial expressions, right? I see some transportation. There's lots of stuff happening in here. So you go through your person's story and read it at least twice. And each of these is based on a real person, you guys. So which kind of gives me chills because I think you're going to be kind of like Abdi. I think you're really going to be drawn into the human aspect of this and how the Syrian civil war and a lot of these civil wars have created each of these individual stories times hundreds of thousands. So this will just be a way to make it a little more personal. And that's what I love about this. So as always, let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to answer anything or guide you if you get lost. And you're going to have 2 days to do this. So you're going to have both Friday and our next class day, which is next Tuesday. So this is not due until Tuesday evening. So you got plenty of time. I really want to see you get into this, get some analytical thought going. All right. Hang in there. We're almost done. You guys are doing awesome. I miss you. And I'll talk to you soon.